Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the HG Iron-Blooded Orphans Geirail. Making any sort of joke about that name is just a little bit too obvious, so I'll just skip that for now. Anyway, I just want to say thank you to MindFenix Hobby Store for sending me this kit to share with you guys. As I mentioned in the unboxing, I think when this kit was first revealed, when the design was revealed in prototype form, I was really quite excited about it. I thought it looked really cool. Then later I was kind of not as much into it once we started seeing it in color and seeing some actual molds of it and stuff. I mean, like the actual model kit itself. And then seeing it in the anime, I thought maybe it would help me, but it didn't really. It had some cool moments in the anime. It was definitely a very capable mobile suit, and I think that's probably maybe a lot due to the pilot, I guess. He was sort of like a very experienced mobile suit pilot. But yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a very unique looking frame. Of course, a lot of people have compared it very rightly to the Tyrion of Gundam 00's kind of ground type grunt mobile suit. It definitely has very similar look, especially with those shields on the shoulders like that and just the kind of green and color scheme. This one has a lot of that navy blue in there as well. I think a lot of probably what I don't like about this design is the colors. That navy blue and green just don't really go together that well for me. Let me just get this going around here for you guys. Also, just the upper body, like the shoulders are super wide and the arms look really short, just like sort of just like hanging off the side there, like really far out from the body. So just like in a standing position like this, that looks a little bit weird. I think that might probably look better once we start getting this into some different poses, but just standing like this, it definitely looks a bit odd in terms of the proportions of this kit. So I don't know if they were to make one 1/100 scale version of this, which I highly doubt, but if they did, I think the proportions might be better because usually on the 1/100 scale kits the legs are a bit beefier, and I think that might give this a little bit more balance in terms of the design, give it a little bit more bulk there below the waist. But anyway, it is a cool kit and very fun to build. It's basically like just building a Graze kit. Most of the frame is the original Graze frame from Iron-Blooded Orphans Season 1, so it should be very familiar if you've built any of those. We do have a couple new parts, a couple new additions to the frame, and then of course all the armor is all new, but it is definitely very familiar to build this. It didn't really take me long to build it at all. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. So starting off with the head here, you'll notice we have this clear red piece in there for the mono eye, which is cool, but it's kind of hard to see. This is like dark red, so unless you put like an LED inside there, or unless you paint like some really bright chrome paint or something inside, or just paint the back of that clear part with some silver or chrome or something, I think just like some silver enamel paint on the back side of that clear red piece will definitely make that pop a lot more. So that's something you could do really quite easily. But as is, it's quite dark and kind of hard to see that, so it just kind of looks hidden there. Next to there we have these two little red stickers, so those are just adding a little bit of red there on like the side of that camera. This head can of course open up like the other Graze heads, and we do have a red sticker on the inside of that head there as well. There you go, now you guys can see in there. So inside the head there's that red metallic sticker like these two on the outside, and then this red clear piece will go down over that. This one just has the commander antenna. Like the Graze kits, you don't have a choice of whether you want that commander fin on the top of the head or not. It's just there. So otherwise just normal head movement here. It's going to go up, really not that far at all, only to about there, down to something like that. Here on the chest stickers here for these gray parts, it's like one that wraps around the front and then another gray, like one that fits on the side of there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 on those parts there on the chest. Really odd, these parts here that like hang down like to the side of the torso. It's just a really weird shape for the body there. You'd think that they would go like kind of the opposite way. But yeah, the designs, a lot of the armor of this just kind of defies normal mobile suit designs that we're used to. But anyway, same movement here. You get movement there at the kind of inside the chest, and then at the bottom it's just on a ball joint, which will come off if you're not careful. One of the parts that's changed of the frame is this part on the back that normally holds the side skirts of the Graze, but in this one it's just this piece there, and then this piece here, which again is different for the skirts, with this not having any front or back skirts to speak of. Otherwise, going up here to the arms, of course, we got some different shoulders with some ports here. Those, as it points out in the manual, you can put in the cannons. So I believe it's 200mm cannons are the cannons from the Iron-Blooded Orphans option set that are supposed to be used for the Barbatos, but you can plug those onto the top of the shoulders here if you wanted to add some artillery onto the tops of the shoulders, so that's pretty cool. Otherwise, the shoulders work the same as the regular grays. They'll just move up and down like that. Got some rotation here at the top of the arm. A joint here in the elbow will give you more than 90 degrees there. And then the wrist is just on ball joints, and we have some rotation here in that part on the lower forearm. So this part here is also the same connection point as the original grays. So if you wanted to connect something onto the forearm, say for example the scissor claw from the Schwalbe grays, or Schwalbe grays, trying to pronounce that right for those Germans out there, then you can plug that onto the back of the arm if you want. Otherwise, just pretty standard arms there. Down here in the legs, we've just got some rotation at the top. You can get that all the way around. Obviously, without any skirt armor at all, you're going to have no problems moving the legs any which way that you want. At the knee, just got a double joint there with that separated knee armor. Looks quite nice. A lot of frame showing here and there and everywhere. Down here in the lower leg, the connection is the same as the grays, but I think because of the armor, because of the way the armor is situated now, you actually get more of a bend here at the ankle. It's got like that's like broken foot kind of look going on there. That whole part will move, and then you have a ball joint here at the bottom as well. The foot doesn't close up. Unfortunately, it would be cool if that could close, if you had some articulation here in the toe. Here on the side of the foot, that's a big gray sticker there, so unfortunately that is not a gray part, just gray sticker on the inside and outside on both of the feet. The feet will point down, without popping that off the polycap, only about to there. Not a whole lot of front and back movement on those feet at all, just due to it just being just straight on a polycap there. And that's pretty much it on the mobile suits. Again, not really a whole lot. It's a really bare bones design, really similar to the EO-frame Shiiden, which was my previous review. This is just a pretty simple design, but it does have some pretty cool accessories, I guess. I don't know, they're not really all that cool for me, but they're kind of interesting. Now, with this, using the Grays frame, it does have a lot of extra parts that you're not going to use. One of them, though, worth noting is this part here, which will plug onto the back skirt. If you want, you can plug that onto there to use just to plug on some whatever you might want to plug onto there. Otherwise, if you just have just the back skirt part from the original Grays, you can just plug that straight onto there to use like the ground type Grays sort of back skirt backpack thruster things. You can plug those onto the back of here anyway. Otherwise, we have this thing, which is like it's a hover unit. Now, you would think that these parts would move up and down, but they don't. This is just two pieces just sandwiched together. That's it. So it's got some nice detail on here. We have these nice vents here on the front, and then those vents here at the bottom, and then some nice surface detail here on the top. But it has, I mean, nothing moves. At least you would have expected these things to move up and down, right? But that's unfortunate that they don't. You'd have to do a little bit of modding to be able to do that. But this just plugs there onto the back skirt like that. And that gives it a pretty cool look, I think. It is going to make the suit look a little bit more complete, or like a little bit more capable, I guess, in terms of, instead of just being like a skeleton of a mobile suit, it's got a little bit more something going on there, a little junk in the trunk, you might say. Then we do have some weapons here for this. One thing I did want to mention, on the sticker sheet here, one of the stickers is this yellow bar, which is supposed to go over the backpack, but that part is molded in yellow, so you're just sticking a yellow sticker over a part that's yellow. Doesn't really make sense, so I didn't put that one on. But yeah, anyway, it does have a rifle, which again, not really too into this design. I like the whole like shield on the front of the rifle thing, and it was pretty cool in the anime, the way that he used that. And it's got the secondary handle that will fold out like, so that's really similar to like a Zaku machine gun, actually. If you took off the shield on the front, it would be really, really similar to one. And then gave it a little bit of a stock there in the back. But anyway, it just drops down into the hand like normal. When you're not using it, there's nowhere really to plug it onto the kit. It looks like you would be able to plug on this little guy here. But as you can see, there's that hole there on the top of the drum. And I don't think that you can actually plug this onto anything. If you take off that ammo drum, like there's nowhere to plug it. Even if you took off this part, I think that this is not the right size to plug onto there. At least it doesn't show it in the manual. But there's that, and then there's also this thing here. This is very creatively called the shield axe, because that's what it is. It is an axe, And it's also a shield. Now, if you're the kind of person who doesn't like hollow spaces in your kits, then this weapon is obviously not going to be for you, as it looks pretty ugly with these big hollow spaces here on both sides. This again will just fit into the hand. You will have to take the hand apart. This won't slide down into the hand due to this part here at the bottom. So this will just be held in the hand. Just really, it's a super wide axe. So I think that you're not really going to do much cutting with this as you were just clubbing, basically. Then you can take this apart. It doesn't actually turn. You just have to take it apart and then just like reposition this here, and then form it into the shield part. And then what you can do with this is just plug this onto the back of the arm here, and then you've got your shield, which then just has like this extra little, oops, there we go. I guess little thing you could use that for, like a sort of weapon, just sort of baton stick sort of thing, and just this shield there. Inside of the axe also has hollow spaces here, so even in shield mode it's not really looking that cool either. So this weapon is, I think, really disappointing, just kind of not very interesting at all. The rifle's okay, the back skirt, the hover thing here on the back is cool, but overall just kind of meh in terms of the accessories, I think. So for a quick comparison, here he is compared with the HG Iron Blood Orphans Gundam Barbarossa Lupus. The Barbarossa Lupus is, of course, a pretty tall Gundam, actually, because it has those really tall, huge feet on it, so it's going to be a little bit taller than the Greys. Any other standard Greys is obviously going to be pretty much the same size as the Geirail, or other Gundams are going to be pretty close in terms of their height. So just pretty standard size, I guess, nothing really too much to note there. So I gotta say, it is definitely going to be looking a little bit better once you get it up in the air. I think, just like I said, the proportions just look strange when it's just standing there on its own. It just looks strange to me anyway. But up in the air pose, it's definitely going to be looking a lot cooler here, and especially with that hover pack there on the back, it definitely gives it a unique look. That's something that is, yeah, just pretty unique. I mean, we recently had the Gundam Kimaris has something similar with its very huge back skirt like that. But in terms of a grunt suit, this definitely gives it a kind of unique look, like definitely looks like a kind of specialty type Greys, and although it's not technically a Greys, it is a definitely specialized mobile suit, so looks pretty cool. Alright, so this is typically the part in the review where I'll talk about some of the negatives of the kit, but I mean, really, to be honest, this kit really doesn't have any glaring negatives, anything that are really worth pointing out. I mean, I point out that the hover unit is just two parts, doesn't have articulation in the like vents for that. That's kind of disappointing. The axe, the shield axe, has some hollow gaps in it. That's also kind of disappointing. But overall, I mean, in terms of just the construction and the quality of the kit is really good. I mean, it's a really nice kit. One nice thing about this kit is it has absolutely zero seam lines on any of the armor, so that will be really nice. You have no seam lines to get rid of on this kit. There are not a few, even just like a couple tiny seam lines on a couple parts of the frame, but you might not even really care to even do anything about those because they're just on the frame, and although the frame is very visible, probably the only seam that you might want to get rid of is maybe just the seam on the frame right here on that part of the hip. But again, I mean, it's pretty much it. So in terms of just the overall construction of the kit, it's really nice. There are a couple of sticker apps, the gray on the feet and then the gray on those parts on the chest. That would have been nice if those were gray parts. But again, those are going to be really easy parts to mask, so that also shouldn't really be a big issue if you're going to be painting the kit. If you're not going to be painting, the stickers work okay. They're fine. They cover the areas pretty well, and they're not really too obviously stickers. If you are going to be painting, those areas are going to be really easy to mask. So again, just nothing really too negative worth pointing out. It's just a whole matter of the design, whereas the design of the mobile suit and the design of weapons don't really appeal that much to me. If they appeal to you, then you'll be perfectly happy with this kit. Alright, so just to wrap up this review, one thing I was skeptical about was the ability to actually use the secondary handle on that rifle, because it's just very close to the primary handle and it just sticks straight out. So usually that kind of handle that sticks straight out is a little bit hard to grip for just kits like this. And yeah, it's definitely hard to grip it. Basically, the only way that you're able to grip that secondary handle is if you have it like it is here, where that secondary handle is basically pointed straight down and not out to the side, where you can get the hand up underneath there as well. And so it holds it okay. It's not great. The one actually loosest part that I found on this kit, the only part really that's been loose on this, is the barrel of the rifle. that front part comes out very easily. I think the just peg on that is not long enough. Just a little bit of drop of glue on that should do fine to get that barrel to stay in there in the gun. Then you don't have to worry about that. But otherwise, yeah, just a nice kit overall. So one thing I do also want to clear up, just because I was just taking a look at the manual again, reading the part. Luckily, the manual is all in English now. And I'm sure someone probably already left this in the comments section, just to point this out to me, but this was actually, the Geirail actually comes before the Greys, so I guess it was Gjallarhorn's like mobile suit before the Greys. They were using the Geirail, and I guess this is obviously a modified, like a customized version. But just to clear that up, so this is not like a different version of the Greys, this is actually a pre-Greys mobile suit. Yeah, just in case anyone cares about that canon aspect of that. But I'm sure you can go and read the wiki or whatever if you do care more about the canon, or you can check out my unboxing. You can read what's in the manual there if you just pause the video. So that's it for this review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful in letting you get a closer look at this kit. Yeah, again, if you're into the design, then you'll like this mobile suit perfectly well. It's a nice kit, really great articulation, of course, just being very bare and just having that really nice Greys inner frame there. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other questions or comments, leave those down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.